All right. It doesn't lead us nicely into our next topic. I thought our next topic was using the finance solver. That's the next one after this. Right now, we're talking about amortization tables for annuity investments. So let's give this a crack. Amortization tables for annuity investments. Amortization tables for annuity investments work in a similar manner to those for reducing balance loans and annuities. However, there are a few differences. The balance is increasing, the interest is earned, and the principal increases the balance. The principal increases the balance. There are no final payment for an annuity investment as it is strictly increasing. There are therefore a few different equations. So the annuity balance is equal to the balance from the previous row plus the principal increase, and the principal increase will be the payment received plus the interest earned. That will make more sense once we jump into this example here. So it says Jane deposited $2,000 into a savings account that earns 5% interest per annum. She deposits an additional $1,000 at the end of each year. Model the first 4 years of this investment in the amortization table. So as we can see, she has put in $2,000 to start with. She's then making a payment of $1,000 at the end of each year. Now, what you need to remember also is that she's earning 5% interest per annum. So I need to say, take this 2,000 and find 5% of it. So we go 2,000 times 0.05, that's $100. To find the principal increase, therefore, what we're going to do is take the payment that she's making and add it on to the interest earned. So that means 1,000 plus 100 is 1,100. That's how much the principal is going to increase by. So now we've got that there. All right, let's clear the board and figure out what year 2 is going to be. So for year 2, I again need to figure out the interest earned. So that means I'm going to take the balance of the previous year, which will be 3,100, and I need to figure out 5% of that. And when I do that, what I'm going to end up with is $155. Then I'm going to say, to figure out my principal increase, take the payment amount that she's making each year and add it on to the interest that I'm earning each year. And that's going to take me to 1,155 as my principal increase. So that means I'll take my previous balance, 3,100, and add it on to my principal increase of 1,155. And when I do that, I'm going to end up with 4,255. Okay, then we repeat. So now we come to the third one. And again, to find the interest that is generated on it, we take the previous balance, 4,255, and I need to figure out what 5% of that is. So I times it by 0.05. And what that's going to be equal to is 212.75. Then, once I've done that, I need to figure out my principal increase. So that's going to be the amount that I'm paying into it, which is $1,000, plus the interest that I'm going to generate, 212.75. And when I add those together, that means the principal increase here will be 1,212.75. So that means what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4,255 and add it on to 1,212.75. So that's my previous balance plus my principal increase is going to be 5,467 plus 75. Oops, is that right? Yes, that's right. So I had written these down beforehand and I'm just copying them down. Otherwise, I would make so many mistakes here. All right, the last one, 4. Remember, there's no such thing as a final payment here because it's just strictly increasing each time. But we know that we're making payments of $1,000 each time. It doesn't change. Now I need to figure out 5% of my previous balance. So it's going to be 5,467.75 times by 0.05 to figure out 5% of that. And that's going to be equal to 273.39. Then, once I've done that, I need to add that onto my payment that I'm making to figure out my principal increase. So that's going to be 273.39. And that's going to mean I'm going to have a principal increase of 1,273.39. 1,273.39. Then I'm going to add that onto my previous balance to figure out my new balance. So it's going to be 5,467.75 plus on 1,273.39. 39. Boy, this isn't very exciting, is it? It's going to be 6741.14. Oh, all right. Then we've got the total here. So the total is just going to mean what? Well, what's the total amount of payments that I'm making into this over the 4 years? It's going to be $4,000. What is the total amount of interest that is generated here? Well, I'm just going to add up all the interest there. And what I'm going to end up with is what? If I was to add them all up, I'm going to end up with 741.14. So I'm just adding them all up. The next thing we could do, now, this is the principal increase. We can write down the principal increase. We're just going to simply add up all of these numbers here. And we're going to find that the principal increase over this time is going to be 4741.14. Now, hopefully you can recognize that the quicker way to do this is to simply say, well, I'm making payments of $4,000. The interest that is generated is this much money. If I add those two things together, I end up with that. So it's just easier to add these two, that and that, to get this. That's the far easier way of doing it, rather than going, adding them all up, or adding all those numbers up. You'd be there all day. Well, you wouldn't. There's only 4 of them, but still. And then your annuity balance. Well, here you can actually say that the total of the annuity is 6741.14. Remember, previously when we're doing amortization tables, it didn't really make any sense to put anything there. But here it does make sense because we're adding on the total of in our annuity balance is that. Perfect. That is how that works. Hopefully you found that fun.